working in the spirit of the Golden Empire. This is 17 News at noon.
Good afternoon to you. I'm Alex Fisher. New details this afternoon emerge in the case of the man accused of forcing his ex-girlfriend to have a miscarriage. It all happened last month. Court documents obtained by 17 News today show Jagmeet Sandhu refused to introduce his girlfriend to his family. Sandhu comes from a traditional Punjabi family. The girlfriend said Sandhu was concerned his family would not accept his relationship because she was outside of the family's race or religion. Court documents go on to say the couple's relationship began deteriorating when the girlfriend became pregnant. That girlfriend said her boyfriend insisted she have an abortion, even though she didn't want one. She says they eventually broke up over the issue. 3 weeks later, Sandhu allegedly entered her apartment while she slept, pointed a gun at her, and threatened to kill her if she did not take unidentified pills. The woman took the pills and became ill. She went to the hospital where a doctor told her the fetus died from the pills. She was 12 weeks pregnant. Sandhu has pleaded not guilty to his charges. He was arrested last month in downtown Bakersfield. He's due back in court January 30th. We've learned the new charges filed against the man accused of kidnapping a woman, among other charges. Back on Christmas Eve, Kern County prosecutors filed 6 new felonies against Matthew Queen. Court documents obtained by 17 News show some of those charges include having 2 unregistered AR-15 rifles and having high-capacity magazines. Queen is an ex-boyfriend of Bailey Despot, a woman who went missing in April 2018. Both also knew Micah Holsenbake, who disappeared that year as well. Despot is still missing, but Holsenbake's arm was found in the Kern River. But to be clear, Queen has not been named a suspect in either case. But he has been in custody since July, now facing 19 total charges for weapon crimes, assault, and kidnapping. Before Bailey Despot disappeared, court documents say Queen forced a woman into an orchard and pointed a rifle at her head. The woman told investigators Queen demanded to know if Bailey had been faithful to him. The murder trial for the former elementary school principal accused of killing her husband resumed today. Authorities charged Leslie Chance with murder after her husband was found dead in an almond orchard in 2013. Prosecutors say she planned her husband's killing after discovering he'd renewed a relationship with a woman he was engaged to prior. If Chance is found guilty of first-degree murder, she faces life in prison. The trial is expected to finish in 3 to 4 weeks. Reckless gunfire comes with consequences, and Bakersfield police were able to track down and arrest an 18-year-old they think is responsible. More than 35 shots were fired at a home on V Street on New Year's Eve. This happened between 10 p.m. and midnight. ShotSpotter technology helped police locate the home. Yesterday, they returned with a warrant and detained several people, including 18-year-old Ramon Toro. Toro was arrested for reckless discharge of a firearm. Officers also collected 2 guns from the home. An investigation is still ongoing. All right, let's take a look at your forecast now with Kevin Charette.
And we've got a few high clouds around the area right now, but still a pretty nice start to the afternoon with temperatures nice and mild. We saw some patchy fog this morning as well, especially over the 58. You can see here on our visible satellite that some of these high clouds have drifted from the north into the valley, so they'll kind of be around most of the day, but nothing expected in terms of rain. 55, as mentioned, under a calm wind right now, so a nice comfortable start. We'll be in the upper 50s this afternoon under partly cloudy skies, and then by 9 o'clock we're in the upper 40s for you. As we take a look at Tehachapi, 46 on the temperature, a northwest wind at 10, visibility at 7 miles. This morning dropped down about 2 with some of that low-lying cloud cover. We're looking at the 40s today and then dipping down into the upper 30s by 9 o'clock under mostly clear skies, and we're also looking at a light easterly wind by 9, about 6 miles per hour. We'll take a look at your extended forecast. That's coming up in just a little bit. Alex?
All right, Kev, thanks so much. And California started to shake in the new year. 2 quakes rattled northern and southern California, and it was felt by thousands. The latest was a magnitude 4.0 earthquake that shook southern California. The epicenter was near Oxnard. It happened just after 2 a.m. And about 3 hours earlier, a 3.9 quake rattled the Bay Area. Although both of these quakes are relatively small, the USGS says the shaking was strong enough for dishes to rattle or pictures or light fixtures to swing. 2 hit-and-run accidents leave 1 man dead and another hospitalized. The deadly crash happened on Oriole Street in Parker Avenue in southwest Bakersfield, just after 1 a.m. on New Year's Day. According to police, a man was walking in the street when a car hit him. He died of his injuries a short time later at a hospital. The coroner identified the victim yesterday as 54-year-old Kurt Parrish. BPD says the suspect's car is possibly a black and gray Dodge Charger or Challenger. If you have any information that could help investigators, call police at 327-7111. And the second hit and run happened on Coffee Road near Stockdale Highway. According to BPD, an SUV hit a motorcycle during an unsafe lane change. The driver left the scene and was later found at a nearby restaurant and arrested. The motorcyclist was rushed to the hospital where he is in critical condition at last check. The driver, 40-year-old Termonica Fields Johnson, now faces 2 felony charges for the crash. A man is accused of fighting off firefighters who were trying to get him out of a burning building. The county fire department was called to Normandy Drive off Niles Street after a fire broke out inside a home. The sheriff's office says the man inside barricaded himself in the home. 2 firefighters were hurt trying to get him outside. KCSO and Bakersfield police were called in to bring the man into custody. He has been identified as Patrico Ork. He's now facing several charges of assault against a peace officer. No word yet on what caused the fire or why the man didn't want firefighters inside. 17 News is your local election headquarters, and we start the new year with one less presidential candidate. Julian Castro is dropping out of the 2020 race. Castro's campaign confirmed to NBC News this morning he is suspending his campaign. The former housing secretary and San Antonio mayor was the only Latino candidate running for president. The 45-year-old struggled at the polls, rarely exceeding 2% in national surveys. Castro tweeted, "It's with profound gratitude to all of our supporters that I suspend my campaign for president today. I'm so proud of everything we've accomplished together. I'm going to keep fighting for America when everyone counts. I hope you'll join me in that fight." Again, that's what he tweeted earlier today. Well, still ahead on 17 News at noon, out of control. Destructive wildfires continue to burn in Australia, and one fire crew found themselves in a life or death situation. We'll take you to the front lines coming up after this. Welcome back. Surrounded by flames in a haze of red, their truck showered with embers. That was the situation which confronted Australia's New South Wales firefighters. Here's a look at the massive fire burning on the south coast of New South Wales. The fire crew survived and lived to tell their amazing story of survival. Chris Reason spoke with the crew and how's their story.
The Central Coast firefighters sent south to help with the Currawin fire were caught on unsealed Hames Road near Nowra. Embers cascade down from a fire off to the left that they can't outrun.
Fires on the road already.
It storms closer, the radiant heat almost unbearable.
Jasper, put the blanket up.
Suddenly, it's like driving through hell. This urban fire truck has no sprinkler safety system. They are beyond vulnerable. Flashover, the air so hot, everything explodes. This is life or death. They know how close they came. The cabin could have been a coffin.
When we were in there, in the thick of it, we thought that this could be it.
The crew managed to escape safe and sound, but it could have been so much worse. This was one of their trucks, completely destroyed. It's believed the brake lines melted and the wheels seized up. How intense were the fires? This is aluminium. It melts at 600 degrees, but the fireys say it was even hotter yesterday. That's like melted wax. This crew forced to abandon the $700,000 fire truck, throw on breathing gear and flee.
It had got to a point where it was too dangerous to remain in the vehicle.
They abandoned their $700,000 pumper, threw on breathing gear and raced to that truck.
It was right on my window. The side of my truck got melted.
That video now has gone global, headlining America's nightly news.
Tonight, these apocalyptic scenes happening across Australia.
And Britain's too.
Incredibly, they survived.
An indicator of the inferno's intensity, a house on the same road set up a GoPro, capturing the furnace as it burst through the bush. At nearby Nowra RFS, it went pitch black at midday. Those flags at half-mast for firefighter Sam McPaul, who died at Jingellic. One of 3 officers now killed. It could have been more.
And unfortunately, we've seen similar images here in California, especially over the last couple of years, right, Kev?
Yeah, in our summer season, and that's what they're dealing with right now. Just an eerie sight to see. Our thoughts are with them. As we take a look at our forecast for today, show you our network of cameras. It's a little hazy out there. We've got some high clouds over us. 54 degrees out in Wasco, Arvin at 58. We've got Frazier Park mostly clear in 51, and Golden Hills, a few clouds there and in the mid-40s right now. Take a look at other temperatures right now, and overall, we're looking pretty good and mild. 56 out in Taft and 50s up to the north, and then for the mountains, 40s and 50s. Tehachapi at 46, so relatively still cool there, and we've got 54 out in the desert for Mojave. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. Picks up those high clouds nicely here from Bakersfield to the west, and then if you look off to the east, that's why we're seeing more sunshine into the mountains and into the desert. Visibility is still a problem up to the north. It's getting better, but we saw zero visibility up near Merced due to some low-lying clouds and fog. Our visibility is just fine at 7 miles, and we saw some low clouds over the 58 this morning. You can see around the state some of those high clouds drifting in out of the north. This red spot here is a high surf warning along the central coast, and the snowpack is looking pretty good as we take a look at the numbers as of the end of the month of December, and you can see the northern Sierra at 81% of normal, the central at 94%, and the southern Sierra at 109% of normal. Those numbers up from where we were last year at this time when we were in the 60s and 70s. High pressure and control here with the jet stream to the north. It is funneling some of these high clouds out of the north into the valley, and they're kind of banking up. So that's what we're seeing right now. We're not expecting any rain. And speaking of rain, nothing in the gauge for January. So that means our departure is negative 400ths. And since October, that's when the water year starts, 2.59. So we are up over a half an inch, because normally for the water year so far, we should be right around 2 inches. Here's a look at January's rain and what we saw the previous years from 19 to 15. Again, nothing in the gauge now, but we'll see if we can compare to these numbers that you see on the screen right now. As we take a look at the national weather, not a lot happening except for the Carolinas. We've been tracking the storm moving through parts of Mississippi into Georgia right now, the northern part, and then you can see into the Carolinas this afternoon. And temperatures are going to be running into the 30s today in Seattle. Chilly one there as they get that cold Arctic air. And then we're looking at 35 in Salt Lake. It warms up out of Chicago. That's where the warmer air starts, into St. Louis at 54, and up into the northeast, a little chilly out of Boston at 39. Here at home, air quality with the haze will be unhealthy for sensitive groups. Your AQI at 102, and no burning for anybody in the valley here. As we take a look at the overall forecast, we'll call for partly sunny skies today. 58 in Bakersfield, the same for Wasco and Buttonwillow, 57 in Taft. Tonight you'll be back in the 40s and maybe some patchy fog. And then for the mountains, 49 in Frazier Park, 48 in Tehachapi, and 50s for the Kern River Valley. An east wind 5 to 10 the remainder of the day. And then for the desert, we're looking sunny and 54 in Mojave. Here's your extended forecast, and tomorrow mostly sunny and 66. Nice and warm. Some clouds do come into the area on Saturday, Sunday, then sunny again Monday, Tuesday. For the mountains, also tomorrow mostly sunny and back into those 50s. A little bit on the cloudy side for Saturday, but gradually clearing. And next Monday, Tuesday, all the kids go back to school, and all areas are looking sunny. And the Kern River Valley forecast, out of the 50s, back into the 60s tomorrow, and maybe a little bit of cloud cover as well, drifting in out of the north.
Kind of a nice forecast.
Nice forecast the next 7 days.
All right, thanks, Kev.
Yep.
All right, well, before we go, we want to check in with 17 Sailor Schaub, who is working on a story for tonight at 5. What are you working on tonight?
Well, Alex, tonight we're talking catalytic converters. And no, that's not something out of the movie Back to the Future. It's a mission control device that's essential to your car, and one that can cost you a pretty penny to replace. A lesson Mercy Transportation learned the hard way in 2019. The local transport company had the parts stolen 6 times off their vehicles. Greg Perucci, who owns a local auto body shop near us, told us earlier today that he's replaced 45 of these stolen converters in the past 2 months. The price, well, it ranges anywhere from $200 to $2,000, but thieves want them for the platinum inside. They actually sell that. And that's leading to both Perucci and Mercy Transportation calling this something of a catalytic epidemic. Those were Perucci's words today. So we're going to have that full story tonight at 5, Alex.
That's a lot of money, too.
Yeah,
so.
a
All
lot.
Right, thanks so much, Taylor. All right, we'll be back after this.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back to your 17 Business Watch and checking stocks on this Thursday, 2nd day of January. The Dow Jones is up 240 points, NASDAQ is up 93, and the S&P 500 is up 17. Meantime, checking oil prices, West Texas Intermediate is at $61.14 a barrel, and Midway Sunset is at $64.31 a barrel. As internet crimes and abuse continue to rise, companies are struggling to keep their networks safe. Many firms are having trouble attracting and retaining cybersecurity workers, causing a nationwide shortage in the industry. CNBC's Kate Rogers has more.
As cyber attacks grow in frequency and severity around the globe, workers like Mandy Ingersoll are in high demand. Ingersoll is an analyst at TDI, a cybersecurity firm in Washington, D.C., helping clients ensure their networks are safe. She began her career in the cyber world in the Navy some 20 years ago and decided to stick with it after retiring.
It's interesting because it's always something new. You're never looking at the same thing. And it's important because this is not only critical to, commercial and private sector sites, but also federal government and military.
The firm employs some 70 people in the U.S. and Europe, assessing and protecting companies, non-governmental organizations, and government agencies from cyber risks. It's looking to bring on 15 more workers, a tall order given the changing cyber workforce. Employees are aging out, while others simply want to work on a shorter-term basis. CEO Paul Inella says he's even seen a new phenomenon given the low supply of skilled workers relative to demand.
I've learned the term ghosting, but we are finding that folks will quite genuinely not show up and never return your call again. And we've actually found some folks who we've hired who just didn't show up, and we never heard from them again. So I do believe there are some unique challenges that we'd never seen before.
TDI offers competitive pay and benefits, tuition and certification stipends, as well as bonuses. But the fight for tech talent is ramping up, particularly here in D.C., as Amazon moves into its second headquarters. Workers are needed beyond just TDI. Right now, more than 2.5 million people are working in cybersecurity jobs around the globe. Some 4 million workers are needed to close the skills gap, and 500,000 of those workers are in demand here in the U.S. to properly defend organizations. And the work has never been more important.
The volume of attacks and the sophistication of attacks from around the world just continue to increase, yet the workforce is constrained. The demand for qualified people continues to go up, the sophistication of the attacks going up.
Kate Rogers, CNBC Business News, Washington.
Well, still ahead, it's on the menu and may make you cringe why you may see insects as part of your diet. We'll explain coming up after the break. Welcome back. Last night on 17 News at 6, we told you about a new dinner option, insects. And today we're giving you a better look. It may make you cringe, but a company in the UK is hoping people will want to eat them instead. Vasco Cotavio has more.
For many, it's the stuff of nightmares, but keep an open mind. This could be your dinner tonight.
In this bin we'll have about 6,000 crickets.
Joe Wise is the managing director at Monkfield. They've been growing these as live pet feed for years. Now they're expanding, becoming the first in Britain to produce insects for human consumption at an industrial scale.
You're getting at least a kilo plus of protein from that bin.
The average steak has 25 grams of protein. That's more than 40 steaks in each of these bins. So Joe's hoping that people will look at the nutritional value instead of looking away. But there are other pluses. Emissions-wise, they're as eco-friendly as it gets. They take up very little space and they grow really, really fast. They're ready for harvest 4 weeks after they hatch. They're then frozen, washed thoroughly, put in a microwave, heated to boiling temperatures, killing any bacteria, and they're good to go. But still, hard to say they're mouth-watering.
This is never going to look as appetizing as, say, a steak. But what we need now is some really good chefs and food scientists to get behind the product, make some really tasty dishes.
That's exactly what Chef Marta Ortiz is trying to do. She's been slowly introducing insect dishes into the menu at Ella Canta, her upmarket Mexican restaurant in London. Like the guacamole nacionalista, decorated with a golden grasshopper.
Even the cracking, it's something so wonderful.
And what do her customers think?
They love it. They ask for more. You know, they want more. They want to try it. They say, this is magnificent, this is delicious. But try one. You will get in love with them, I'm sure.
This is a bit scary.
No.
I'm not sure I love them just yet. A good chef can make anything taste delicious, but the big question is, with these on sale here in the UK, are people in the West ready to eat them?
Never had it before, don't intend to have it now, probably never will have it.
So some people say crickets, like these are the food of the future.
Are they? That's lovely. No, thank you.
Oh my God, it looks like a cricket as well.
Just like crisps, to be honest.
Just like crisps?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Yeah. Tastes better than it looks, that's for sure.
For now, insects might just be for the most daring, but finite resources and a growing population might make eating these a global necessity rather than a choice. Vasco Tuvio, CNN, Ely.
And if you're at the Kern County Fair, maybe you had some. When we come back, it's almost time for a sweet treat. Details on our annual cinnamon roll drive coming up.
Welcome back finally here at noon. Compassion Corner will have its first fundraiser of the new year next week.
Yeah, we're really excited about this because we're teaming up with the Alzheimer's Disease Association of Kern County for its annual Cinnamon Roll Drive. Now, you're taking a look at video from last year's drive, and last year the association sold out before 11 a.m., so keep that in mind. They raised more than $25,000 for programs that support local families whose loved ones are living with Alzheimer's. It's happening across the street from our station at 21st and L Street. The sale begins at 6 a.m. and the rolls will keep coming out until they sell out. Last year, remember, 11 a.m. For just $10, you can purchase an 8-pack of Hodel's famous cinnamon rolls. The association says buying 110 will provide an hour of care for someone who is living with Alzheimer's disease. You can pre-order by texting Hodel's at 41444. You'll be out there.
I'll be out there. It'll be delicious, and it'll be nice to see that sign on the corner. It says Compassion Corner.
Yeah, if you've never come out to see our new sign at Compassion Corner, come out, and that'll be your time to see it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much for joining us for 17 News at noon. We'll see you back here tonight for 17 News at 5.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.